Hello guys and welcome back. First of all, apologies, there hasn't been as much DIY EV uploads recently as I would have liked. Basically, I had come to a junction in the project where I couldn't do a whole lot more to the test mule, and I was at a point where I need to start stripping this car down. And it was cold in winter and I don't work so well in the winter, and so yeah, all the excuses you can think of. But anyway, we're going to get to it again. The next part of the project is to start stripping the ice out of this car, internal combustion engine, and affiliated components like fuel tank and so on. Basically stripping this down and preparing it for the electric bits that are currently in the test mule. So if you were looking at the car with all the bits back on it again, thinking, oh good, the car is almost done, no it's not. This hasn't even been touched yet. This is still a complete functional diesel car. As you can see, I have the Nissan Leaf wheels on this car. I don't know if they're going to stay there or not, but they're on it for now because they're holding air. The other wheels, the tyres were all quite dozy and weren't holding air, so I just stuck these on just to so as I can drive it around, move it around. So the next job on the agenda is to start stripping this beast. Although before I do that, it's been making some weird noises as I've been sort of moving it around the driveway. This car was bought as a non-runner. It has a few different things that are not good about it. They're like wing mirrors that are flapping when they shouldn't be, and there's things like this is quite bad. I'll probably take that off the test mule and swap them over. The back door looks like it's been sprayed at some stage quite badly. So we might end up swapping the back doors, not sure. The boot door has, maybe you can see it there, there's quite a bit of filler, black mastic is on the back there, so that needs to be addressed. I might end up just swapping the back doors between the two cars, because the back door on the other car is pretty good. So there's a lot of cosmetic things about this car that need to be sorted, and some interior stuff needs to be sorted. As you can see, whoever had it last had stripped the radio out of it and so on, but I don't care too much. I was planning to put an Android head unit in there anyway. But the interior of the car is in pretty good condition. There's a slight tear on the seat here, which is quite common for these cars. I'll see if I can maybe get that addressed in some way, but it's not heavily worn. It just seems to have been torn. Maybe somebody had something sharp got caught on it. So we'll see if we can address that and just tidy up the inside a bit. But like I say, there are some mechanical things in the drivetrain that need to be addressed. So I think I'll jack it up, see if we can find where the problem is. There's quite a grinding noise coming from the back somewhere when you're driving. It does seem to drive alright, but obviously that's not ideal. And as you can see guys, I have it jacked up, all four wheels off the ground, and it's in second gear. And as you can see, yeah, this car does not have lock diffs. If I was to slow this wheel down, even a big foot, right, I can slow this wheel down and stop it, and the wheel on the far side should be spinning away. This one seems to have a slightly sticky brake caliper, so that's maybe just what's causing the noise that I was complaining about. I was able to stop this other wheel as well. There we go. side is now spinning away. So I can't see anything obvious. The only thing that is concerning me is on the drive shaft. I'm not going to crawl under for obvious reasons, but on the drive shaft, this, or the prop shaft, this front, right, the front bearing is a bit slack, so it's sitting down on the front bearing, so that needs replaced. But I have one of those anyway, so that's not a problem. So wondering what that peculiar sort of howling noise is. It's the fuel burning heater. To be honest, it would be very, very useful in the winter if I could use diesel to heat the cabin rather than using battery power. I know it's not ideal in an electric car doing that. I'll just turn it off here. You'll probably hear it continuing. That's the fuel burning heater in the corner here. So the diesel burning heater. And it vents out here somewhere. The next step is to get rid of the diesel. Get rid of the diesel engine. As you can see, whoever had this before had put silicone hoses on it. Yeah, he told me he had replaced quite a few things in this car before. I don't know what happened to it. He parked it up for some reason and never went back to it. Now the only thing I could find wrong with it when I got the car was the back window wouldn't go up, and that turned out to be the normal thing for these cars. Is if the back window doesn't go up, it's the switch for the door is the problem. So I mean, it looks like he's even painted this, which is quite unusual, but the first job is to get this smelly noisy beast out of it and getting it ready for the electrics to go in. So as you can see, we have managed to spend a complete day, or best part of it, just getting the front bumper off. Jeepers, these things are a pain. Every screw was rusted and had to be cut out or drilled out or whatever, and there's quite a lot of them, so yeah, it took quite a while. So as you can see, guys, we're at a very exciting moment in the stripping of this Freelander. This is the good car. We're about to drop the engine. I have spared you the pain of watching me disconnecting various hoses and bits and pieces. I took out the rad and the lights and front bumper and so on. So I spared you the pain of watching me do all that. And I've taken off the front subframe and moved it, just shoved it in the back there, so it's out of the way. And I have removed the drive shaft from the gearbox and the IRD, and I'm sort of pushing them out of the way with a piece of wood. I don't want them dropping down on the CV joint, and stretching the boots here. So hopefully that's them far enough out of the way that the engine will not touch them when it comes down. What I'm planning to do is to just set the engine onto an old carpet or something like that. Probably an old carpet will do, and then I can just drag it out, physically just drag it out from under the car. Hopefully I have the car high enough. Not sure about that yet, but if it's not high enough, it should be relatively easy to jack it up a bit higher, and I'll have lost a couple of 100 kilos of engine and gearbox on the weight in the front of the car when I'm jacking it up, so it should be a bit easier. I have unbolted the power steering pump because I want to retain the power steering pump, and I didn't want to have to bleed the power steering fluid or anything. So I've got that unbolted from the engine. So the next step is to take the tension, start removing the engine mount bolts at this side and the gearbox mount bolts at that side, and then just drop the whole thing down. At least that's the plan. I'll put you up on a stand here and you can watch to see how it all unfolds. Hopefully it'll go well. So it's now sitting on the legs of the engine hoist, which means it's way too high. So I'll have to figure out a way of getting it a bit lower. So this is what's going on under here. It's sitting on this piece of wood, and as you can see, it's way too high. So last night I managed to get the engine out and over here out of the way, and this morning I'm going to try and deal with the scaliest of the scaly rust problems. This is it after I've cleaned it down, and this is what it looked like before I cleaned it up. Turn the light around. As you can see, the rust is quite bad, but it all seems to be still sound, so there's no holes blown through, and it ain't pretty, but I'll get it rubbed down more like that and slap some paint on it. This is not a restoration job. My intentions for this car are to keep it on the road for the next couple of years, and potentially the equipment that's in it, the electrical equipment in it, might be taken out and put into a different car, but that's another job. So in the meantime, we'll just patch it up as best we can, and like I say, keep it on the road for another year or two. So as you can see, guys, by the the mess on the floor and the red lead on the car, I have kind of rubbed down the crustiest of the crusty bits and got rid of the worst of the flaking rust and put some red oxide paint on it. Hopefully it'll help to buy another year or two out of the car anyway, and sure, it's not going to make that big a difference in terms of the life of this car, but I suppose it makes me feel a bit, I just missed a bit. Just realised I missed a bit. Yeah, it makes me feel a bit better anyway. I'll just go and get the paintbrush and get those bits that I missed painted again, but not too bad. The subframe looks like it's alright, it doesn't look too bad. I could start getting stupid about this, and I could start replacing bits and spending a fortune on it. I think what I'll do is I'll concentrate on the important bits, like this is a lot worse for the wear. The seal is damaged in the caliper and it's rusty and it's horrible, so I have a couple of those on order. They're only 70 quid for the pair. It's just no point in messing about. So I've got new calipers ordered, and I have a seal kit ordered for the caliper carriers. They're okay, they're strong enough, just need the seals replaced. So the brakes, I'll have to get new hoses too, I presume. I'm sure the hoses will not be in great shape. I would imagine when I go to take that off, it will just disintegrate, so I may even have to do new brake pipes or an extension of them anyway. We'll see how that works out, but yeah, we're getting there. I want to try and get this to a stage where it is reasonably good before I start putting the electric stuff in. Alright guys, what started off here as being a simple cleaning up the calipers has turned into buying new calipers, cleaning up the caliper carriers, but the back is where things went really pear-shaped. Well, it started off as being started off just being taken off the wheel liner, turned into a broken brake pipe, and then on closer inspection it turned out that the hose, the flexible hose, was pretty rotten as well, and when I was trying to take the brake pipe out at the back, I ended up damaging I don't know if you can see it or not there, but the wheel cylinder socket where the brake pipe screws into it is all broken and damaged. So new wheel cylinder on order as well. So yeah, this thing is a tad crusty, I'm afraid, and it's turned into a bigger job than I had first anticipated, but we'll get it done. As you can see, I've already started making up the brake pipe that goes into, where is it? Sorry. As you can see, I've already started making up the brake pipe that goes in the back there and goes up to here. I've been using, believe it or not, to bend it, I've been using this, and that fits quite nicely. It just, as you can see, that gap there fits quite nicely for the brake pipe, and it's working quite well. The pipes are bending and they're not kinking, so I'm not going to complain. The far side is not too bad, it's a lot less crusty than this side. Right guys, so here's the problem. What do you do when, let's just zoom in here, the bolt you're trying to take out is not quite a 7mm and it's not quite an 8mm. 8mm is too big, 7mm is too small. It was an 8mm when it was new, but now nothing's fitting. You can't get clamps or anything, it's really tight in there. So how do you get this bolt out of there. You know rightly it's just going to shear off anyway, so you're replacing the whole unit, you're replacing the bolts. So how do you get that out? Simple. Use one of these. That will go in there and just sit on the top of that bolt. If you can see what I'm talking about here. That can go in there and just file away the top of that bolt, and that will just pop out nice and easy. 5 minutes will have this out. Sorry guys, I couldn't find a stand that would work with the camera, so this is going to be shaky cam. Okay guys, hopefully you can see there that the head of the bolt is completely gone. Head of both bolts is completely gone. So that should just pop out now. Told you. Whoops. There you go. If you're ever having to take out a tiny bolt in a very awkward space that you can't get at with a spanner, the head's wrung off it, you can't get at it with calipers or pliers, just grind the head off it with one of these things. 5 minutes and the job is done. I know the last time I tried to do that without one of these, I struggled for, I'm sure, an hour or more. You can't even get a cutting disc in there, it's so tight. So one of those and you're golden. Hi guys, welcome back. And this time we're going to be looking at the current situation with the replacement car, the the good car, in inverted commas, because as you're about to see, some of it isn't that good. Now, I'm saying all this in a kind of an intro because due to stupidity on my behalf, I didn't properly record a lot of the stuff that I thought I was recording. So yeah, as you can see, we'll start at the front. We have new brake discs, new brake calipers, and a reconditioned or painted caliper carrier, is that what they call it, plus new hoses. The discs actually weren't too bad at all, but I just happened to have a spare set of Brembo discs, so I thought I'll stick them on. So discs, pads, shoes, discs, pads, yeah. Anyway, so that's the front. I also did some painting, as you can see, after removing the engine. Just some red oxide on. I didn't bother doing the black at the back there. I didn't think there was any point. But here, because I thought, well, it might get seen, I put some black paint on there as well. But that's not where the main trouble is. The main trouble is round the back. Now, hello Freddy. He's a good boy. As you can see by the amount of crap and crud on the floor, there's been a lot of scraping and rubbing down going on. And as you can also see, the rear diff is missing because, well, I'll show you that in a minute, but there's a new brake pipe over there. There's a new wheel cylinder in there. That's all good. This side had already been replaced, so it wasn't too bad. But as you can see, I've been trying to get rid of the worst of the crusty paint in here. It looks like the underseal, I don't know, it looks like the damp had got under the underseal and it was just holding, it was just rusted away under the underseal. So I'm scraping that back and I'm going to put some of that red oxide onto it. So that's that. I'll show you what's happening over here. This is the, yeah, look, we've got the sun for a change. This is the rear diff, and as you can see, we've got some parts. We've got a couple of seals because this, as you can see, it's quite moist with oil on both sides, where both of the seals have been leaking. Plus also a mount On Land Rover Freelanders, there's 3 mounts for the rear diff. The rear 2 normally last quite a long time. The front one is the first one that goes. So now I'm going to do my least favourite job, which is rubbing down a bit more to try and get a bit more of this crud out, and painting. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I've done, this was originally the fuel tank box that had 2 extra bits sticking out here and here. Now, because of changes I've made, I don't need those extra bits anymore, and I just cut them off. They were just getting in the way, causing me grief, and just making life awkward for me. So yeah, I've got the box sitting out here just to hopefully get a bit of heat from the sun and dry the paint a bit quicker. These are the brackets I've made up, which will support the box and hold it in position. And when I get it into position, I'll show you how that's going to work. So those are a job for later, and this is a job for now, unfortunately. Yeah. There you go. Sorted.